This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. My name is Steve Weir, and I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager at RTO 9, which is Regional Tourism Organization 9 here in Kingston, Ontario. And with me today is Maryam Siddiqi, Lifestyle Editor for the Globe and Mail. Welcome, Maryam.
Thank you so much.
Maryam is an award-winning editor and writer who specializes in lifestyle content, primarily exploring travel, design, and trends. She's done many things, and her works have appeared in magazines across Canada, the Globe and Mail, National Post, Elle Canada, enRoute, Report on Business, and many others. So Maryam joins us today to share with us some thoughts on her fam trip. She got to experience a fam trip to Kingston, Frontenac County, and Thousand Islands, Gananoque when COVID protocols allowed for visitors from further afield. And Maryam, you're coming from us today from Toronto, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit about your experience in Southeastern Ontario this summer?
Sure. So I visited in, I think, well, the latter half of June. It was my first trip anywhere, first overnight trip anywhere since
Exciting.
March 2020. So that alone was exciting. We were sort of headquartered at the Frontenac Club, which was fantastic because I had written and researched about it prior to, so it was great to actually be there and sort of meet the people who created it, or sort of brought it back to life. And
Yes.
honestly, I can't remember the last time I'd been in Kingston, so it was really nice to just sort of explore the city. We got up to the Thousand Islands for a day, which was incredible. I hadn't been there before, and had a fantastic hike in Frontenac Provincial Park, which was we basically had the hike to ourselves. So, I mean, that was a bit of lucky timing because COVID restrictions had just rolled back and we were there midweek. But yeah, that was just an incredible experience.
And you experienced that with Walt Seepick, right, from
I
Firefly
did,
Adventure?
yeah. Well, it was,
Yes,
yeah, I'm
that's
sure
wonderful.
my friend and I probably talked his ear off, but I hope he enjoyed time as much as we did.
Well, can you tell me what one thing stood out, or something that you learned while you were visiting in our region?
Sure. I mean, so definitely the hike with Walt was fantastic.
Okay.
I'd never been to the park before, so just learning, that park is what, maybe 2.5 hours from Toronto.
Yes.
So it's just like a great alternative to Algonquin, or not that there's anything wrong with Algonquin, but
Yeah,
it's a little bit off the beaten path for people in the GTA.
absolutely.
And so easy to get to from Kingston. So if you wanted to make a long weekend of it or something like that, it's just a great way to really immerse yourself in nature while still being so close to the city.
Right. What one thing could we have done a little bit differently to make your stay even more enjoyable? Do you have any criticisms for us?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a criticism, but we ate very well, but there were a few places, we learned of after the fact that it would have been great to
Okay,
visit. And so maybe having an option for some
great
of the
idea.
meals, like having 2 or 3 options, and I know that logistically it's a bit tricky, but maybe you provide media with like a gift card or something like that that
Yeah,
they can then use at one or two, you know what I mean?
yeah, that's
Um,
a great idea.
yeah, because there was, we were gonna try and do it on the way out, but we learned, I think it was the owner of Stone City Ales told us about this great brunch place just down the street
Right.
from her place, and we were gonna try and visit it on the way out, but we just couldn't make it work with our timing.
Yeah, and what about timing? Was timing okay? Was it a bit rushed, or was it not enough things in your itinerary? Can you give me a little bit of sense
Yeah,
to that?
so there generally I would say the timing was fine. Obviously there's the distance of driving because we were
Yeah.
stationed in Kingston. So, like we had a kayaking experience in Thousand Islands first thing. And
Yes.
so because neither me nor my friend had been there before, we just weren't sure what to expect as far as traffic and driving. So I think There was one day, the day in Gananoque was long for us, but that, we started with kayaking and then
Really early.
yeah, and then we went out to, the name of the farm escapes me, but the donkey farm, which was also
Yes.
a super cool experience that neither of us, like, we didn't know what we were getting into. I just thought that sounds cool. Let's experience that. And they were lovely. They were lovely.
Wonderful.
Yeah, really cool experience, I think, for families. And then,
That was
we
at
were
the
there.
Lyndhurst. That was at the Lyndhurst Berry Farm
Yes,
homestead.
exactly. Yeah. But we were in Gananoque until dinner that night. So it was a long
It was a
day
long day.
for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well noted. Would you consider coming back to the region maybe next year for another fam trip? And if so, what kind of or what destinations interest you in visiting, and maybe types of stories you'd be interested in and knowing more about for this
Sure.
region?
So personally, I'm just kind of watching my Instagram feed to see everything that's going on in Prince Edward County.
Mhm.
So I'd love to experience the county beyond wine.
Okay.
Like I feel like everyone knows about wine and everyone knows about the park, but my sense is that there's a lot of other things that are really, like taking hold there and growing. And so it'd be great to see it from a different perspective. Not that wine's not great, but
No, exactly.
as an
But
editor,
other experiences.
yeah, I'm
Go
always
ahead.
looking for the untold story, or like I'm looking for ways to educate our readers about things that they might not easily be able to find themselves.
Wonderful. Well, I wanted to take the time and thank you for coming to our region. I really appreciate the stories that have been generated from your experiences here. And I want to thank you personally. I got to meet you through IMM, the International Media Marketplace. Are you going back again this year
I
to?
plan to, yeah, in person this year. So yeah,
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for doing this today. It's great insight for us and helps us create better itineraries for FAMs coming into our region. So thank you once again,
my
and take
pleasure.
care. And
And
hopefully we'll be able to speak and bring you back to Prince Edward County next year.
I hope so. And again, thank you for having me. It was a great re-entry into travel.
Have a great day now.
You too.